At the dinner table, I bent down to pick up my fork and saw my brother's hand shamelessly lodged between my girlfriend's thighs. He smiled. "Your current girlfriend has nice slim legs. She's mine." In front of me, he led her into a room and closed the door. The next morning, he looked at me with open provocation. "What can I do, Ethan? It seems every woman around you can't resist me." I smiled back and turned to press my lips against the woman he'd loved, obsessively, for 5 years. My brother Lucas broke up with my ex-girlfriend. "We only dated for a month. Isn't it normal to break up?" Lucas said casually, as if he was discussing what to have for lunch. "But when you sent me those bedroom photos, you said it was true love and hoped I'd give you my blessing," I said, taking a sip of coffee. I glanced at Sophia, who was still waiting outside in the scorching heat, and clicked my tongue. Sophia was the beauty queen of our department. Not only was she gorgeous, but she also excelled in her studies. Her family seemed quite wealthy too. Add to that her cool and aloof demeanor, and she was the quintessential campus goddess. Many guys at our college had fallen for her, including me. Sophia was technically my ex-girlfriend, but not really. After all, I was just her fake boyfriend to ward off unwanted suitors. The day after we publicly announced our relationship, Lucas stole her away. That night, Lucas sent me several explicit bedroom photos. "I'm interested in her because you're interested in her," Lucas had said, "but your taste is truly garbage. For your first girlfriend, you chose such mediocre goods." I knew Lucas wasn't actually into Sophia. He just wanted to steal everything I liked, even if he'd discard it later. He didn't want me to have anything. Since childhood, he'd been jealous that my arrival stole all our parents' love. So anything I liked, he'd find a way to take it for himself. It was like that with toys when we were little, with nice clothes, and now with the girls I dated. My taste wasn't great before, but this time, I'm dating someone high quality, I said, my eyes filled with infatuation. Lucas looked intrigued by my expression. "Oh really? I find it hard to believe your definition of high quality. When can you introduce us? She's coming to meet me soon." Just as I finished speaking, I saw Isabella appear at the cafe entrance. I smiled and said, "There, that's my girlfriend." She wore a white blouse and had a slender figure. A silver necklace adorned her neck, and she exuded a lazy, carefree aura. Compared to Sophia, this kind of woman gave off an uncontrollable vibe. I was obsessed with women like her, and so was Lucas. He loved making all sorts of women fall for him, and he especially loved stealing my girlfriends. I saw Lucas's eyes noticeably brighten. He looked Isabella up and down several times before finally curling his lips meaningfully. I was all too familiar with that expression of his. It meant he had his sights set on his prey. The more carefree and unrestrained a woman was, the more she aroused a man's desire to conquer her. When Lucas saw that from the moment Isabella entered, her eyes were only on me, he got even more excited. I frowned in displeasure. The reason I dared to bring Isabella to meet Lucas was because I trusted her character. I'd known her for 2 years, and she was never the type to be seduced by good looks. Emotionally, she was a very loyal woman, but looking at Lucas's flirtatious eyes and demeanor, I felt a bit uncertain. Lucas knew exactly how to manipulate women. Take Sophia, for example. She was so cool and aloof at school, but she became wild and flushed with desire when she was with Lucas. I held Isabella's hand, and she smiled at me tenderly. I firmly believed I hadn't misjudged her. Before leaving, Lucas kept his eyes fixed intently on Isabella. I observed Isabella's expression. She seemed completely oblivious to Lucas, her attention fully focused on me. After we left the cafe, I accompanied Isabella to the sports field. She had plans to play badminton with some friends, while I sat on the sidelines holding her jacket and watching. Isabella exuded a uniquely feminine charm. Her aura was completely different from Sophia's. She was bold and uninhibited, like the June sun, bringing joy to those